interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by the chairman of the Ondo State's Information Technology Agency, Olumbe Akinkugbe, for discussion on the agenda for the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy and matters arising. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So let's start with digital economy and the prospect for Nigeria. What is the relevance of digital economy in the present Nigerian dispensation?
Well, it says that in itself says it all, because we are aware of the constraints that we're having from other contributors of the economy, namely oil, agriculture, which have always been the mainstay of the economy of Nigeria. And of course, with the renewed agenda of our President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there's a concerted effort to actually leverage on the possibilities that are existent in in digital economy, into contributing its own quota to the general economy of the country. I believe last year, digital economy and ICT contributed about 17% to the GDP, which is it's actually been growing year on year for the past couple of years. And recognizing the importance of that and the fact that we live in a constant evolving global digital economy, Nigeria does indeed need to take its position, leveraging on the advantages that we have in terms of our youth population and in terms of our knowledge base, to actually ensure that we contribute and reduce the reliance on our traditional economic contributors, which has been largely oil over the last couple of years. So it's no gainsaying that the country realizes the potential in digital economy to actually continue to grow from 17% and hopefully maybe add another 5 to 10% if we're ambitious to contribute to the general economy of the country.
So the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has stressed the need for growth in the sector through technology and innovation. How ready is the country for this?
The country is certainly ready, and I must first of all commend the Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, on releasing a strategic blueprint only in 4 weeks in office. I think, first of all, that tells us that this is the right man for the job, although we didn't expect anything less. It's a fantastic document that says all the right things, speaks to all the right things that need to be done. And I must say that, first of all, you must have a willing sponsor, which we do in the new government that has just come into power, because I think digital economy and technology played a significant role, or was given a significant mention in the transformative agenda, which was a policy document for our now President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But speaking further to the strategic policy document that was released by the Honorable Minister, I believe it was Monday, a couple of days ago, which has done justice to where we need to go. So, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we do have comparative advantage, and one of the biggest advantages we have is our growing youth population. Now, in the world of today, we do realize the importance of a youth population in terms of digital growth and digital skills, because when we're talking about adoption of these new skills, new ways of learning, new ways of working, it is actually the younger population that we're talking about. And luckily for us, we do have that. Secondly, we have a sponsor in terms of, we have a government that actually has taken the bull by the horns, understanding that we need to actually pay attention to this. So if you look again at the strategic policy document that was released by the Honorable Minister, it talks about knowledge as the foundation of innovation. And I believe a couple of other pillars were spoken to, like infrastructure, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And this meets us exactly at the point of our needs, because where we are in the country today, we have a teeming youth population that is eager, that is willing, and that is able to work. In terms of digital penetration, we are at a greenfield position, meaning that there's still a lot of work to do in terms of infrastructure. But what that means is that it's not a disadvantage, but an advantage in the sense that we can actually build the way we want it to be and learn from other people's mistakes. From that document again, we spoke a lot about things like investing in innovation, ensuring that Nigeria becomes top 25% of countries in the world in terms of innovation and research, which are things that we haven't really done that much of a great job at. So I think where we are provides us a launch pad where pretty much we can write our own story from the beginning because we have all the necessary attributes to be able to do it.
All right. So let's now break down all that is in that strategic blueprint. It's a 31-page blueprint titled Accelerating Our Collective Prosperity Through Technical Efficiency, which revolves around 5 pillars: knowledge, policy, infrastructure, innovation, entrepreneurship, and capital, as well as trade. Now, what's your view on it, especially mandate and strategic agenda 2023 to 2027?
Again, I think it's an excellent document. I didn't expect anything less. The Honorable Minister is someone that has excelled in the industry, has played a really leading role as far as technology is concerned, from an entrepreneurship perspective, as well as from a development and skills perspective. And it touches all the right notes. So if we start, for example, from the pillar which is knowledge. Again, knowledge is the basis of innovation. So as we need to definitely deepen digital literacy in the country today. And the document speaks a lot to using the present infrastructure, the present agencies, to actually ensure that each of the MDAs under the ministry are basically up to task to be able to provide, the necessary support to speak to the document. So if we start from a knowledge perspective, we definitely need to do a lot in terms of digital training, digital literacy, digital skills. Now, from where we're coming, we've had a lot of digital programs. A lot of states, I work with the Ondo State government, for example. We do a lot of trainings, but there's always a gap, meaning that when you do train, what are you training for? I think over the past couple of days, there's been a video of Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, talking about why and how they manufacture in China. And of course, he was able to clear that erroneous thought process that Apple was manufacturing in China because of low cost. And was able to explain and make people realize that it was not a cost issue, but it was a fact that this level of skill in India, especially when it comes to technical skill, was very, very high because of the precision equipment that they use in manufacturing a lot of their devices. Now, that's understanding that is the first phase which this document has spoken to, right? Knowing that we need to deepen our digital skills, deepen our digital knowledge to be able to make ourselves a country that can take advantage of such opportunities. Another thing that I'd say the document speaks to is innovation and research. We do not do enough of that. Yes, we're doing some, but it is not enough. We have over 21 technical universities spread all over the country. How many of them are currently developing innovation, research that is speaking to industry? When I talk about speak to industry, I'm talking about Nigeria as a whole. So a lot more attention needs to be paid to things like research and innovation. And of course, after training these people, there was an initiative that was launched from the Ministry of Industry. I think it's called the National Talent Export Program, which the document, the strategic policy document from the Ministry of Communications also speak to, which means that when we're done with the training, we're basically trying to create hubs, business process outsourcing centers all over the country where these skills will be deployed and to be put into use, thereby making the country a veritable destination for talent, exports, and services.
All right, so let's stay on the 5 pillars for some minutes. Under the knowledge pillar, the minister said federal government will train 3 million tech talents by 2027. How feasible is this?
Of course, it's very feasible. And I'm happy you mentioned this for us to go deeper into this, because it dovetails off what I just mentioned, especially with regards to the National Talent Export program that was launched by the Honorable Minister for Industry at the UN General Assembly in New York. So out of those 3 million jobs, I believe that within the next 4 years, the government can easily take, from business process outsourcing, can easily take 1 million jobs out of that. This has been done before. It's not rocket science. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just taking advantage of things that have happened in other countries that have similar demographic, economic, socio-economic development profiles to Nigeria. If you go to Bangalore today, in India, let me start with India. In India today, the BPO, the business process outsourcing industry, is worth about $25 billion. That's $25 billion in the past, 2 to 3 years. Now, they employ maybe in excess of about over 2 million people in campuses all over India. Bangalore, which is sort of their own technology valley. And if we're being sort of not too ambitious and we're able to achieve what is set out in the National Talent Export program over the next 4 years, that can easily speak to, I'd imagine, close to 1 million people that can be taken out of unemployment. Now, if we look at other digital skills that we're able to actually get people upskilled on, whether it's additive manufacturing, even in agriculture, because today we're not using smart tools to do a lot of our everyday tasks. We're not using smart tools in agriculture. A lot of it is still largely agrarian. Same goes for manufacturing. If we're able to deploy the right technology skills, we will definitely be able to put up to that 3 million amount of jobs over the next 4 years. Looking at we're not just speaking to technology in itself, but technology-enabled businesses.
Right. So another point in that blueprint is positioning of Nigeria as a key player in the African and global technology ecosystem. How well do you think the country can do this?
One of the things that the document speaks about, which actually points us in that direction, is when we talk about using our universities as resource centers. As I mentioned earlier, we have over 21 technical universities in Nigeria, right? As of today, I dare say that in the developed countries, if you find 10 software developers in Nigeria before you find one in perhaps a circle of people in the more developed countries today, because it's sort of plateaued, right? So we haven't taken enough advantage, and the document actually speaks to that as leveraging on our higher institutions of higher learning as centers of excellence, where we can actually start doing proper, innovative, and research work. Our fathers in ASU would definitely like this, because it's not just, being an academic is not just about lecturing. That's just one part of it. A large part of the academia is about research, innovation, publishing documents which actually speak to everyday life and industry in your environment. Have we actually leveraged that? Have we seen that happen? I would say we have tried, but not as much as it is. But I believe that with this document and with the zeal and with the political strength that is behind the Minister for Communications and Technology, I believe that this is very possible if we follow the principles and the policies, have the right policies, and of course the right mentality and partnership with the university authorities.
All right. So you're the chairman of Ondo State Information Technology Agency, SITA. How is the state leveraging on technology to boost its economy?
Well, I dare say we've done a great job because on the assumption of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, SAN, as governor of Ondo State, I believe 6 years ago now, we were clear about our mandates as an agency under the governor's direction. The first thing was to ensure that we deployed technology so that we could actually deliver government services to people quicker. We've deployed technology which enabled us automate government processes and operations, which are then allowed, or should I say, increased productivity. And also, we've been able to deploy technology in areas of internal generated revenue, and that has seen a 200–300% increase in terms of revenue growth within the state. So we've done quite a lot, and I would say that Ondo State today definitely has reaped the benefits of technology. Today, our ministries are all connected on the same network infrastructure, which means that from one ministry to another, we actually have IP telephony, which means that we're not spending money on external phone calls. Our HR systems are automated. Our financial control systems are automated. Our monitoring and evaluation processes are automated. So we clearly understand the importance of technology and how best we can use it to service not only making sure that government is run optimally, but to make sure that the citizens of the state actually benefit from access to government service. I must quickly point out, one of the innovations that we've been able to do is through the Ondo State residency card, which we call Card Igbeayo. We've been able to offer free maternal care to the pregnant women and the children of age under 5. How have we been able to do it? Through biometric registration of residents of the state. These are cards that you take to the hospitals, and on presentation, you're able to enjoy free access to this medical care, which is also backed up by the Ondo State Health Insurance Scheme. So I believe we can give ourselves a pat on the back to say that we've done quite decent in terms of deployment and use of technology in Ondo State.
Right. So how are the youths in Ondo State benefiting from all of these projects?
The youths are of very, very importance to us, and I'm happy you asked that because there's something that I particularly, and I would say the governor and the citizens of those states are particularly proud of, is what we call the Akure Tech Hub. The Akure Technology Hub is a first of its kind hub in sub-Saharan Africa, meaning that it's the first of its kind that combines 3 elements, which is academia, government, as well as private sector. So the Akure Tech Hub is located in the Federal University of Technology. You remember that I spoke earlier about leveraging on the universities of technology, all universities as it were, that we have in Nigeria. So we have a technology hub that is situated in the campus of Futa in Akure. We inaugurated the hub, I believe, 5 years ago. And over the past 5 years, we've had 5,000 individuals go through that technology hub, which serves as an incubation center for technology entrepreneurs, whether they're students, whether they're school leavers, like a space where they can actually come to, ideate their ideas. We have internet running 24/7, constant electricity is in the university campus, so the security is at the optimum level where they can come together, ideate their ideas, and bring it into fruition. And every year, we have a hackathon whereby the first 3 winners are given prizes and assigned mentors to enable them scale their business. One of our success stories today is called TREP Labs. TREP Labs, I believe, have raised in excess of $500,000 since they've left Akure Tech Hub. They created intravenous, digital intravenous monitoring system, and I'm pretty sure that you'll be hearing a lot about them these days. So in terms of focusing on the youth, beyond the numerous digital skills trainings that we've done, our digital centers that we have in the 6 local governments, in the 3 senatorial districts, 2 in each senatorial district all over the state, we've been able to address the youth, but not to my satisfaction, not to the governor's satisfaction. There's still a lot of work to be done because there is, as I said, a huge population of our youths that need to be gainfully employed, and we will continue to do more.
I really wish you had enough time to talk about these projects and how you intend to expand them to the rural communities in Ondo State. But moving on, what more do you think Nigeria needs to do to boost our digital economy?
I think the most important, well, not the most important because they're all important, but one thing that speaks to me personally, and I think this is also one of the pillars in the strategic policy document released by the Ministry of Communications, is infrastructure. We need to work on our infrastructure. And I believe that in partnership with the telecom companies, we can do a lot more in terms of rural, deepening rural digital literacy, because the world we are in today is highly competitive, highly mobile, and we'll be doing ourselves a disservice if we only focus on the urban areas, right? And unfortunately, because the telcos, I'm not sure if they'll be happy that I say this, but they're profit-making organizations, so they're there to make business. So if they're for them to go into the rural areas where the average revenue per user is not that high, government needs to do more in terms of, assisting where we can give waivers. Of course, as far as the right of way is concerned, the federal government has crashed that to about 150 naira per linear meter for right of way. So policies like that are things that we need to work on hand in hand with the telcos to be able to deliver rural penetration for broadband and for digital.
It's been a wonderful conversation with you. It's been an interesting conversation with you, Mr. Olumbe Akikungbe, Chairman of the Ondo State Information Technology Agency, as a focus on the agenda for Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight, and well done. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
And thanks a lot for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Goodbye.
Toothpaste, Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Why are we changing our toothpaste?
Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity-free.
When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps